Good morning, everyone. The first habit that can truly set the tone for a transformed life is beginning each day with gratitude. It's easy to overlook how powerful this simple act can be. We live in a world that constantly pushes us to focus on what we lack, what we need, and what we haven't yet achieved. But what if we shifted our focus to everything that we already have? What if, instead of waking up to a list of worries or a mind full of expectations, we started each day by acknowledging the blessings already present in our lives? When you start your morning by listing 3 things you're grateful for, whether big or small, you shift your mindset from a place of scarcity to one of abundance. This small practice can have a profound impact on how you perceive the world and yourself. Gratitude isn't just about feeling thankful. It's about cultivating a mindset of appreciation for the present moment. So many of us spend our days rushing from one task to the next, always looking ahead to what's next or waiting for something to change. But gratitude brings us back to the now. It invites us to stop and recognize the goodness around us, the beauty in the simple things. A warm cup of coffee, the sound of birds outside the window, the comfort of your bed, or the smile of a loved one. These moments, though seemingly insignificant, are pieces of the puzzle that create a full, rich life. By recognizing them, we train our brains to seek out joy in the present, not in a future moment that may or may not come. The real power of gratitude is in its ability to change your perspective. Perspective. When we start our days focusing on what we're grateful for, it becomes easier to find peace and contentment in all aspects of our lives. Think about it. When you're grateful for the job you have, you show up to work with more enthusiasm. When you're grateful for your body, you treat it with care and respect. When you're grateful for your relationships, you nurture them more fully. Gratitude isn't just a passive emotion. It's an active, transformative force. It encourages you to see the good in the world, which makes you more resilient when faced with challenges. In moments of hardship, a gratitude practice reminds you that even amidst struggle, there is always something worth appreciating. What makes gratitude so powerful is that it's a practice anyone can adopt, regardless of their circumstances. It doesn't matter where you are in life or what you're facing. You can always find something to be grateful for. And the more you practice it, the more it becomes ingrained in your daily routine. Imagine waking up each morning, not with dread or stress, but with a sense of appreciation and joy. Imagine starting your day with a heart full of gratitude, knowing that no matter what happens, you've already won by recognizing the beauty of the present moment. This shift in mindset creates a ripple effect that influences everything you do, from how you treat yourself to how you treat others. Gratitude, when practiced consistently, doesn't just change your mornings, it changes your life. Owning your story is about embracing everything that has shaped you into who you are today. It's about not allowing your past, with all its imperfections, mistakes, or setbacks, to define you in a negative light. Too often, we are taught to hide our scars, to keep our struggles and vulnerabilities under wraps, and to present a curated version of ourselves that is perfect in the eyes of others. No. But the truth is, those struggles, those moments of weakness, and even the failures are the very things that add depth to our lives. They are part of our narrative, and without them, we would not have the strength, the resilience, or the wisdom we have today. To own your story is to stop apologizing for it, and to recognize that every chapter, whether painful or joyful, has contributed to your personal growth. When you fully own your story, you stop living in shame or regret. Many of us walk around carrying the weight of past mistakes, missed opportunities, or moments where we feel we fell short of expectations. But these are not burdens. They are lessons. They are the stepping stones that allowed us to rise higher. The moment you begin to embrace your imperfections and acknowledge the lessons learned from past failures, you free yourself from the weight of guilt and self-doubt. Owning your story means releasing the need to apologize for your journey and stepping into your own power. It means accepting that every experience, good or bad, has a purpose, and that you are worthy of living your life without the chains of past failures holding you back. There is an incredible strength that comes from sharing your story with others. Too often, we hide parts of ourselves for fear of judgment. But when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable and open about the challenges we faced, we invite connection and understanding. We let others see that we are not perfect, and in doing so, we give them permission to be imperfect too. This vulnerability builds trust, fosters empathy, and allows for deeper, more meaningful relationships. When you own your story, you stop comparing yourself to others and start celebrating the unique path you've walked. You stop looking at someone else's success and thinking that it should be yours. And instead, you begin to appreciate your own timeline and the individual growth that comes with it. But another powerful aspect of owning your story is the shift it creates in how you view your future. When you accept your past with all its ups and downs, you stop feeling like a victim of circumstances. You stop believing that life is something that happens to you, and instead, you recognize that life is something you can shape and mold with intention. Owning your story is about stepping into your power and becoming the hero of your own narrative. It's about recognizing that while you may not have control over every event that has happened in your life, you absolutely have control over how you respond to them, thought to them. And that response is what defines your future. Every decision you make, every step you take, is an opportunity to create the next chapter of your story, one that is written with purpose, authenticity, and self-belief. In a world that often places immense pressure on achieving perfection, the power of consistency can easily be overlooked. Perfectionism can be paralyzing. We convince ourselves that unless we can do something flawlessly, it isn't worth doing at all. The constant chase for the perfect outcome leads many to procrastinate, second guess, and never take the first step toward their dreams. But the truth is, perfection is a moving target. It's elusive, unattainable, and often an unrealistic standard that keeps us stuck in inaction. The real key to success doesn't lie in achieving perfection, but in showing up every single day, putting in the work, and being committed to progress, no matter how small or imperfect that progress might seem. Consistency is about developing the habit of showing up, even when you don't feel like it. It's about committing to the process, not just the result. Think about any skill you've ever learned, whether it's playing an instrument, writing, or working out. You didn't get good overnight. You got better because you practiced every day, or at least made an effort on a regular basis. You learned through repetition, making mistakes, and continuing to push forward. This is the essence of consistency. It's not about being perfect from the start, but about maintaining the discipline to keep going regardless of setbacks or obstacles. Over time, these small, consistent actions compound, creating a mastery of skill, mental resilience, and progress toward your goals. In the pursuit of consistency, you'll inevitably face moments of doubt or frustration. It's natural to want immediate results. But growth isn't linear. There will be days when the progress feels slow or non-existent, and that's when the power of consistency really shines. On those days, it's important to remind yourself that progress is often invisible. Behind the scenes, you're building habits, developing muscle memory, and strengthening your character. The key is to trust the process and to understand that every action, no matter how seemingly insignificant, is a step forward. When you focus on the long-term journey and not on the instant outcome, you begin to see that success is a result of persistent, small actions that are repeated day after day, even when the results aren't immediately clear. Another critical aspect of consistency is that it teaches resilience. We live in a culture that celebrates instant success, viral moments, and overnight transformations. But the reality is that these moments are often the result of years of hard work behind the scenes. Consistency helps to build mental toughness because it requires you to stay committed, even when things get difficult. The more you persist, the more you learn to adapt and find solutions to challenges. This resilience isn't built in moments of ease, but in moments of struggle, when you choose to keep going, despite the obstacles. It's in the grind, the daily effort, and the determination to show up, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Over time, you begin to develop an inner strength that keeps you moving forward. No matter how tough the road may seem, the people you spend the most time with have an undeniable impact on the way you think, feel, and act. We often hear the saying, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And there is much truth in this. Your environment, both the physical and social, plays a significant role in shaping your mindset and your actions. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, criticism, or people who drag you down, it's much harder to maintain a positive outlook on life. On the other hand, when you're surrounded by individuals who encourage, support, and challenge you to grow, you start to believe in your own potential and take actions that align with your goals. The energy around you is contagious, so it's crucial to curate a circle that not only uplifts you, but also inspires you to push beyond your limits. Positive energy doesn't just come from the people who surround you, but also from the types of interactions you have. Think about the conversations you engage in on a daily basis. Are they focused on growth, possibility, and solutions, or are they full of complaints, gossip, and negativity? If you're constantly discussing the things that aren't working or the problems you face, you begin to focus more on what's wrong with your life rather than what's right. It's essential to be mindful of the kind of dialogue you engage in because it can either fuel your ambitions or drain your motivation. Surrounding yourself with positive energy means nurturing relationships that are built on trust, encouragement, and a shared desire to grow. These types of conversations can inspire new ideas, open up opportunities, and create a sense of community that makes the journey toward your goals feel less isolating. Additionally, when you surround yourself with people who radiate positivity, they not only lift your mood, but they also become a source of accountability. Positive, like-minded individuals can challenge you to keep moving forward when you're tempted to quit. They remind you of your potential when you lose sight of it. A supportive network will encourage you to take action, step out of your comfort zone, and take risks that you might otherwise avoid. It's in these relationships that you find both the encouragement to continue when things are tough and the constructive criticism that helps you grow. A community that holds you accountable, celebrates your wins, and helps you learn from your failures becomes an indispensable part of your growth journey. Without that kind of support, it can be easy to give in to self-doubt and abandon your goals prematurely. Moreover, the energy you allow into your life isn't just limited to the people you spend time with. It also extends to the content you consume and the environments you expose yourself to. Are you constantly scrolling through social media feeds filled with negativity, comparison, or toxic behavior? Toxic behavior. At the Or are you feeding your mind with empowering content? The books, podcasts, articles, and videos that fuel your passions and inspire you to grow. In the same way that the people around you can influence your mindset, the content you engage with shapes your perceptions and beliefs. Surrounding yourself with positive energy means curating your media consumption, being selective about where you spend your time, and intentionally choosing things that support your goals and personal development. Development. Whether it's following individuals who uplift and motivate you, or creating an environment in your home or workspace that promotes focus and creativity, you are in control of the energy you allow into your life. By intentionally cultivating an environment filled with positivity, you set yourself up for success, creating an atmosphere that nurtures your growth and supports your well-being. Fear is an emotion that is both universal and paralyzing. It's a natural response to uncertainty, the unknown, or potential failure, and it affects everyone, whether they're taking on a big challenge or simply trying something new. But what many people don't realize is that fear itself is not the problem. It's how we respond to fear that ultimately determines our success or failure. Fear can either hold you back or propel you forward, depending on how you choose to face it. The most powerful habit you can adopt is taking action in the face of fear, even when your body is telling you to retreat and your mind is filled with doubts. By choosing to act despite the fear, you develop the courage and resilience needed to break through your limitations and unlock your true potential. The thing about fear is that it's rarely as big as we imagine it to be. Often, it exists in our minds, magnified by our thoughts and worries. We make up worst-case scenarios in our heads that are, more often than not, far from the truth. The fear of failure, of not being good enough, or of making a mistake can stop us before we even begin. But when you choose to take action anyway, you start to see that the fear loses its grip on you. It becomes less intimidating when you actually experience it and realize that you can survive it. Taking action is the antidote to fear. The more you face your fears head-on, the more you build your confidence and prove to yourself that fear doesn't control you. In fact, you learn that it is only by moving through fear that you discover what you are truly capable of. Fear is often a sign that you're stepping outside your comfort zone. And stepping outside your comfort zone is where growth happens. Anything worth achieving in life requires you to stretch beyond your limits, and that stretch will always feel uncomfortable at first. Whether it's starting a new business, speaking in front of an audience, or making an important decision, there will always be an element of risk. But growth happens in those moments of discomfort, when you make the conscious choice to move forward, even though you can't see the whole path ahead. If you wait for fear to completely disappear before taking action, you'll be waiting forever. Instead, trust that you don't need to be fearless. You just need to take the next step despite the fear. It's about doing it scared, but doing it anyway. Each step you take builds your courage, and with each action, the fear becomes a little less powerful. When you take action despite fear, you not only move closer to your goals, but also develop a mindset of resilience and adaptability. Fear often leads to self-doubt, and self-doubt can paralyze you into inaction. But when you confront that fear, you learn that you can handle whatever comes your way. You become more comfortable with failure because you understand that failure is not the end, but part of the process of success. Every time you take action, even if the outcome isn't what you expected, you gain valuable experience, insight, and clarity. Over time, fear becomes less of an obstacle and more of a signal that you're moving in the right direction. It's the feeling that you're growing, expanding, and challenging yourself to do things you never thought possible. By consistently choosing action over fear, you build a life that is shaped not by limitations, but by possibility and growth. The voice inside your head is incredibly powerful. It can either be your greatest ally or your harshest critic. Self-talk, the way we converse with ourselves internally, shapes our beliefs, actions, and overall perception of the world. Many people don't realize the influence that negative self-talk has on their lives. It's easy to fall into the trap of being overly critical of ourselves, doubting our capabilities, and focusing on our shortcomings. But the truth is, the way you speak to yourself has a direct impact on your behavior, confidence, and ability to succeed. Positive self-talk is one of the most potent tools for building self-belief, as it not only boosts your confidence, but also empowers you to take action and face challenges head-on. A negative self-talk often stems from past experiences, societal pressures, or the internalized voices of others who have doubted or criticized us. We can start to believe the lies we tell ourselves. I'm not good enough. I'll never be successful. Or I'm not capable of achieving my dreams. These thoughts become deeply ingrained in our psyche, influencing our decisions and limiting our potential. When you constantly repeat these negative affirmations, they become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You may unconsciously avoid taking risks, hesitate to pursue your goals, or settle for less than you deserve. However, the moment you shift your self-talk to one of compassion and encouragement, you start to see your life in a completely different light. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, you begin to say, I'm capable and I will figure this out. This simple reframe can change the course of your actions and ultimately your life. The power of positive self-talk lies in its ability to reprogram your mindset. The more you consciously choose to speak to yourself with kindness, encouragement, and belief, the more you create neural pathways that foster confidence and resilience. Every time you replace